Apple Music Essentials, Luke Bryan. Music's most influential artists and the stories behind their songs.
At that point, are you confident enough that you're like, I don't care, I know for me what I think a hit song is? Like, what's happening as far as your A&R skills in this season?
Well, what's happening with me is Drunk on You, I wasn't crazy about it. The speakers go boom, boom. I would say, and Jake Owen and I have talked about it, we couldn't determine whether that was cheesy or not. And it was throwing us.
Yes. Okay.
And it threw Jake. But what got me is I kept playing it for people on my tour bus, the demo. And I kept watching. Like, at the time, we're playing shows, and after the show, we got friends that are coming back, and we're jamming music, and everybody's having drinks, and I would play people songs I had written, and I'm watching on Drunk on You, and Cole Swindell was on the bus selling T-shirts, and Cole was like, he does know it, but for 2 or 3 years, Cole was... If he's
excited about it.
No, he was an A&R guy for me.
That's wild, and I love that.
If Cole Swindell was going, look, if he come up on the bus and want to hear Drunk on You 6 times in a row, and, and my manager and my buddies from home, and people just kept wanting to hear Drunk on You. And finally, I took my anxieties of the boom boom line, and I said, I've yet to meet one person that it's batting 1,000. Everybody wants to keep hearing it. So there you have it.
So this is where, to me, it goes from being nuts to super nuts. It's like, is this star to superstardom, or is it, are you just in it? Are y'all even aware of how fast and huge it's becoming, or you can't even keep up with what's happening?
If I'm aware of it now, it's because I've replayed it. But still, at the time, you're not properly taking it in. Do you get what I'm saying?
Well, you don't have time to.
Yeah, you do, but you don't. But then, you're just with me, like my thing that I lay my head, like with me, I've had fun at it. So I was never like deep, dark, depressed. So I was always like, well, what's the next fun thing we're going to do?
Okay. Talk to me about writing for the radio versus writing for the live show.
I write for the live show, period. And I pick songs for the live show. And then I think, that's just the way I've always been. I envision everything I've ever done. My first envision is, what will the crowd do, period. I feel like if the crowd is if they're crying on Drink a Beer, they're going to be crying in their car on the radio. When I heard Drink a Beer, so you got to understand, Chris Stapleton wrote it with Jim Beavers, and I get the demo of Chris singing it.
That's a nightmare. That's an absolute nightmare for anyone.
Oh, yeah. And it just rocked my world. And I never will forget, I was on the way I was driving to my bus. This is even where I was still yet in my career. Like, I was riding my bus to every show, and my bus was 20 minutes north of Nashville, and I'm 25 minutes south. So to go to, even just to get to my bus, I'd have to drive 40, 50 minutes. And I was listening to Drink a Beer, and I played it over and over and over. When I got to the bus, my bus driver, Caleb, is sitting there, and I'm like, dude, check this out right here. And I played them Drink a Beer, and it changed the game for me, because it let the world know that I'm not always lighthearted party boy. This is real deal music that's going to change people's lives. And the best compliment is when a fan comes up and says, we played Drink a Beer at my grandfather's funeral, and we had a lot of those. It's been amazing.
Yeah. Did it feel scary? We have similar stories of losing siblings. Did it feel scary to open yourself up to have the conversations around loss?
I think it's always tricky for me. I think me talking about the loss, if it, like I said, if it makes people go, well, he's battling through, and so can I. And I think that's, I think with anybody with their struggles, I mean, I think even last year taught us that a lot of people are struggling, and hiding it and keeping it in is the wrong thing, and talking about it is better. And I think Drink a Beer really, the beauty of Drink a Beer is it makes the good old boy that don't want to talk about losing their grandfather or their buddy, it makes them think about it and talk about it, and it helps them heal.
Yeah.
Because nobody wants to express emotions. Like a guy like my dad don't want to tell you he's hurting, and the construction guy and the hardworking house. I mean, they don't want to show weakness. And Drink a Beer really. I mean, when I look out and I'm doing Drink a Beer and I'm sitting out there on a dock, and I see, just a good old boy out there hugging his wife and they're crying. I mean, that's a beautiful moment. And that's what music, in my opinion, that's just what music is all about.
Yeah, amen. I love thinking about that song as an invitation for that person you're describing.
Yeah.
Like an invitation, like to not be okay.
Right.
And it's so understated too. It's so understatedly beautiful.
Yeah, it's not a complicated, when that's the beauty of how good they wrote. Anytime you write a song so simple, and the simplicity makes it, the simplicity is that's the beauty of country music, really. Country music has been able to do that historically better than any other genre, is the simplicity of how the simplicity creates the emotion even bigger and better.
Yeah, amen to that. For me, I love Strip It Down. I've always loved that song. I think one reason is because I don't think people, if they come to your live show, people that are at your show know you can really sing. Because there are moments where you really sing. You know what I mean? But I feel like that was one of those moments where I got to just hear you as a vocalist.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny. It's funny you bring that up. We can all get inside as we want to about it. I think, like structurally, like I can really sing. I can sing kind of whatever I want to, but I think my songs and my big fun songs, I think a lot of aspects about my voice get lost.
Yeah.
And the reason why it's documented is because every time I go do a tribute album, like I went and did a tribute album for Ronnie Millsap, and Ronnie Millsap's producer's like, I didn't know you could sing like that. And then I went, and they don't mean it. They don't mean it. They just, and so Strip It Down is those moments. And Jeff Stevens, my producer, he's always like, God, I just wish people could truly know that you're a singer. And, but I don't care about that. I mean, I think it's all.
Well, also, what do you have to prove?
Well, but here's what you got to here's what you got to prove. And this is a big deal. And this is a big deal. When you come to a concert and the person actually sings better than you anticipate, then you cook the best filet mignon on the planet, right? I mean, if you, when people go to a show and somebody, they're
doesn't
out
sound
there
as great as
going,
their record.
God, they don't sound good at all, then you probably just lost that fan.